His new book is out, and it is entitled Stone's Rules. The legendary Roger Stone. Good morning.
Good morning.
So it's funny because if you start looking through history, big things that have happened over the years, somehow you're always there, or you're always a part of it. How does that work, by the way?
Well, that's the point of my book. I talk right up front about Theodore Roosevelt's famous quote about the man in the arena. That the credit doesn't go to the person who sits on the sidelines and criticizes those, Republicans and Democrats, liberals and conservatives, who choose to get into the battle. And even if the people in the battle lose, Roosevelt says, they are better than the people who sit on the sideline, because the people on the sideline will never know the exhilaration of great victories and the horror or the problem one undergoes under terrific defeats.
Yeah.
And that makes them hollow people, because knowing that great achievement meant you did something. It's a great quote. Roosevelt never really said it, but it was found in his papers. Nixon found it and just used it again and again.
Well, is the one of the quotes that I see here is, "It's better to be infamous than to have never been famous at all."
Well, if you can't get people's attention, you can't change their minds.
Right.
You can't make your case. Look, the Democrats say all kinds of things about me that are ridiculous and defamatory. And if you go over onto Twitter or Facebook, there's a torrent of hate. It's not just we don't like Roger Stone or Roger Stone's wrong. It's no, we want to kill him. We want to kill his family. We want to kill his children. We want to kill his dogs. Weird anti-Semitic oriented. I'm not Jewish, by the way. I'm a Catholic, but weird anti-Semitic cartoons of me and stuff.
Yeah,
it just grows tedious. I've been, as Anderson Cooper said, very consistent in my explanations of you can even say ties with my WikiLeaks relationship. There you go.
Yeah,
because otherwise they conflate that.
Right.
And it's just it's like a pack of hyenas at your heels. But I think you got to get in the arena, and whether it is I went to work for Nixon when I was 19 as the youngest member of the committee to reelect, but I was on a voluntary basis involved in the Nixon campaign in my home state of Connecticut as a teenager, and that's when I met Nixon. So it's been a long ride.
Yeah.
Nixon, Reagan, Trump. Three of the greatest presidents I can think of.
Well, I know we're going to stick with the book, and I only have a few minutes with you, but I could not have you on the radio without asking you about the last 48 hours for this president. It's just the biggest opposers of Donald Trump have to step away and say, "Wow, this is big."
Well, I mean, we shall see. The deep state is superb at manufacturing crimes where there are none. On the Russian collusion thing, I still believe they are empty-handed. An analysis of whatever it is Michael Cohen may have been out freelancing and doing, we don't know that Trump knew of any of that.
Yeah.
Knowing Michael's dynamic and situation, I sincerely doubt it. Donald Trump hates it when you make money off of his name. He will not allow it by a Corey Lewandowski, by a Roger Stone. I mean, until he read my book, I wasn't sure he was happy I was writing one.
Yeah. Tell me about the book. This is a very unique book. It's not just about politics, but it's about style. It's about making the perfect marinade, as they call it up here. This book is very broad.
Well, you don't have to be a conservative or a Republican or a Trump fan to enjoy and utilize this book. If you're a Bernie Sanders progressive, there are things in here that would be good for you to know.
Yeah.
If you're non-political, you don't like politics, but you do want to look good when you step out with your lady, then this is the book for you.
Yeah. Style as well as recipes and is it in the book? Because I'm looking at the release here. where you are convinced that that LBJ is responsible for Kennedy's death?
Well,
or did that come before?
To be very clear, I've written a book called The Man Who Killed Kennedy, The Case Against LBJ. It's my first New York Times best-selling book. It is done extremely well. It was putting money into a college fund for my grandchildren. However, I will now have to dip into that for legal fees.
Yeah.
House Intelligence Committee, Senate Intelligence Committee, Senate Judiciary Committee. I'm faced with two frivolous harassment lawsuits. One, where the DNC is suing me and half the Western world. Donald Trump, the Russian nation, the Trump campaign, Donald Trump Jr., Julian Assange, Roger Stone, Bozo the Clown. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Have you ever... go ahead.
But Tucker Carlson and Mike Smerconish both urged me to write this book for years, to wrap it up. I kept talking about it. I sent Smerconish an early draft, and he came back with some constructive criticism, structure-wise, but he just said, you got to do this, guy. You got to get this out. And Tucker Carlson wrote the introduction for me. And this is my operating manual. It's everything, you need to know in here if you're on the make and you want to make it big, whether you're in business or politics or fashion or media, and do it with style.
How did you
do it with grace.
How did you see that Donald Trump would be president of the United States so early? I mean, this is something you talked about long ago.
Well, first of all, I recognized it in him, not perfection, but some qualities. I do not argue that he is not flawed, and there's so many things that I would do different than he, and he's president, and I'm not. What I did notice was that he was totally independent of everybody in politics. He had relationships with them, but none of them owned him. So he gave to the Bushes, he gave to the Clintons. He didn't particularly like either one of them, because he'd rather have lunch with a group of cab drivers than make small talk with these people. He's a regular guy, and he has disdain for the ruling elite that have brought the country to its knees. So and he has broad shoulders. I mean, he's much tougher than people think.
Yeah.
I mean, remember I'll clean this up for radio, but I mean, a famous Roy Cohn quote where he would say, Donald Trump blanks ice water.
Yeah.
It really kind of sums it up. So he has the courage and the strength. Now it just had to be a situation as to what the point would be that
I think I lost.
They were ready for a change and hoped that Donald Trump wasn't too old by that time, which he didn't turn out to be.
I know I'm out of time. I want to ask you off the topic of the book and back to today,
sure.
But what's going to happen with Kim Jong-un? Is anything going to come out of this, you think?
Sure, looks to me like he's on the cusp of a larger agreement. I mean, how many more exchanges of pleasantries can we have for what looks to be a productive meeting?
Yeah.
And third party, in diplomacy that other countries have talked to him, and he's saying to them, tell Trump I'm ready to make a deal. If he's serious, let's sit down. That's a guess on my part. So I notice the president still says, and if we don't make a deal, all right, so that's the way it is. But it sure would be, he's been very careful about that. That's a shrewd negotiator.
I have not gotten through this book entirely. I have to tell you, I am intrigued by the book. It is everything from politics to style. It's a modern Carnegie book on how to succeed in life.
How to tie your own bow tie.
That's
by
big.
the way, because there's so much going on the internet to censor us, you can go to stonesrules.com to buy this, or Barnes & Noble, of course, or Amazon. But when I post links from Amazon or Barnes & Noble, everything I put out is deemed spam because I'm Roger Stone.
Well, it must be something to be Roger Stone. That's all I can say.
It's this net censorship campaign. It is really absurd. Anyway, I'm delighted to be with you today.
Well, thank you so much. The book is Stone's Rules. Thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Many thanks.
The legendary Roger Stone. How about that?